Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back. Today we're doing a little bit different of video. Recently I've been doing a lot of like rankings of albums and stuff like that, but I kind of wanted to do a little bit of a deviation from that because, to tier list this band that I'm going to be talking about, which you obviously know from the title, is My Chemical Romance. I don't feel like they really have enough material to really put it in a tier list, and I don't want to have to put in EPs and singles because that's not really fair to compare it against full albums. And so I figured, well, I'll be honest. I never had an emo phase. Pretty much in my music listening journey was just, rock music was always around, but I never really was like conscious of it till like maybe around like 11 or 12 years old. And then, the first like heavy music I got into was like butt rock. Bands like Seether, Disturbed, Avenged Sevenfold, Five Finger Death Punch, Slipknot, Metallica, Megadeth, all that stuff. That was like what I first got into. I got into like butt rock and like classic metal and a little bit of new metal first. So I never really I didn't really get into pop punk until much later. And even then, I kind of had like I don't know. The main band I really only listened to is Green Day, in terms of pop punk. I know I liked some of Blink-182, but I'm not crazy about them. I never really was. And the whole like emo scene, I just never really like dove into it. Never really interested me that much. But I've been slowly getting into My Chemical Romance past handful of months. Pretty much ever since they released that single, the Foundations of Decay, which I will definitely talk about at some point, but not in this video. But yeah, I decided to just pull the trigger and just say fuck it. I listened to all of their studio albums today as I'm recording this, so all this stuff is still very fresh in my mind. I figure that's the best way to do it, and so this will be like a part 1, and then I'm thinking part 2 will be like the Conventional Weapons singles, and like I'll talk about like the song Fake Your Death, which is on their greatest hits record, and I'll talk about like their other like the Black Parade B-sides and stuff like that. I know they have a lot of like extra songs that aren't part of albums, so yeah, let's get right into it. I have some JPEGs pulled up on OBS, so we'll just go through each record. And so the first album is I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love. This is the first album, obviously, by My Chemical Romance, and it's actually pretty damn heavy. Like for a pop punk or even just straight up punk album, yeah, this gets pretty intense at some points. It's never like, obviously it's not metal, and I never would have expected it to be, but yeah, if you could tell from my rankings, I'm big on like songs, so like I kind of judge albums by like how many good songs there are, and as far as MCR goes, they have a lot of good songs on their albums. Like the album opens with the first 2 actual songs on the album because there's an intro track. Honey, This Mirror Isn't Big Enough for the Two of Us. I actually really like the energy and aggression. This is a pretty badass opener, and I like Vampires Will Never Hurt You. I like how it kind of like builds up, and it has like these clean guitars throughout it. Drowning Lessons is neat. My favorite song on the album is probably Our Lady of Sorrows. It's a short track, but it's pretty heavy, and it's got that nice like hardcore punk aggression that I would obviously be into as a fan of extreme metal. But yeah, some other good songs on some I like Head First for Halos, Skylines and Turnstiles, that one's pretty good. All the songs I mentioned before. Cubicles is alright. Demolition Lovers, the last track, is pretty cool too. I know that these albums all have a concept, And I think the concept for this album is that basically this couple like gets together and they just basically just raise hell. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that. I more so just pay attention to the music and the singing. And yeah, Gerard Way is actually he screams a lot on this one, and I like his scream, even though it's and his singing voice too isn't too bad. To me, it sounds like he hasn't really refined his voice at that point. But I mean, obviously, it's the first album. I wouldn't expect it to be like superly perfect. He would just him be like fucking a majestic singer right at the beginning. So it's fine, but yeah, it seems like he's really pushing his voice to do a lot of the higher vocals and the screaming, which I can kind of see where he got the scream from Ronin, the song that he featured on with Matt Heafy of Trivium, which is part of the reason why I decided to start listening to this band. But yeah, as far as, I mean, I'm not crazy about Early Sunsets Over Moreauville or This Is the Best Day Ever. They're okay. I'll take them or leave them. They're fine, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty solid debut. I will be honest, and I mean, it's not my favorite album of theirs, but which is a pretty common thing across most bands. I'm not huge on their debuts, but yeah, I like this one. This is a good album, and so I guess I won't mess around because this is probably going to be a long video. 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. This album fucking rocks. Like, this album is actually really good. I'm quite surprised. I mean, I knew the song Helena because like I would be very surprised if I didn't know that one. And obviously, I'm Not Okay is like the quintessential emo anthem for obvious reasons. But as far as how I feel about the actual song, it's okay. It's fine. It's whatever. I mean, it's the best. It's the most popular song on the album. So like, yeah, I don't know. I like that this album doesn't really waste your time a lot. It's 39 minutes long, 13 songs around, each of them around 3 minutes, 2 minutes long. That's fine. Probably my favorite My Chemical Romance song is Thank You for the Venom. That's super technical, like guitar. Well, not really technical, I guess, but technical for pop punk. Guitar intro, I wish was kind of throughout most of the song, and I wish they would do more parts like that. But overall, the song is awesome. It's just very, very catchy, and that's like the main thing about this album in particular, is that I feel like it really mixes the like the heavy aggression of like actual punk music, and it kind of gives it that, kind of injects it with a little extra dose of like catchiness, and that's kind of how I like my pop punk. I'm not a fan of a lot of pop punk where it's basically just pop music but with a barely distorted guitar just so that it kind of counts as rock. You know, but I guess this album and I Brought You My Bullets have like a interconnecting story somehow. Like, I guess the two people on the cover are the Demolition Lovers from the last album. Like I said, I don't know what I'm talking about, so I guess we can leave it to the experts that know all about this stuff. But yeah, I quite enjoy this album. Ghost of You is a great song too. Obviously, Helena is awesome. Give 'Em Hell, Kid. You Know What They Do to Guys Like Us in Prison is pretty fun. It's Not a Fashion Statement, It's a Death Wish. That one's good. Hang 'Em High. The Jet Set Life Is Gonna Kill You is a really good song. Yeah, overall, just a pretty damn good album, and it might be my favorite. But I'm not sure. I'll have to listen to it a bit more for that one, because oh boy, I guess I gotta talk about the Black Parade now. The absolutely fucking genre defining album that is the Black Parade. I mean, I'm not gonna I mean, it's a good album. Don't get me wrong. It's very good, but I wouldn't say it's like the GOAT or anything like that. Like it's a very very good album. I keep saying that over and over, and I guess I should talk about what I like about it. I don't know. I guess I just prefer My Chemical Romance when they're a bit more like heavy and aggressive and more like just like super heavy, super fast, super angry, super emotional, and not less dramatic. And Black Parade is like MCR as theater kids basically. And I mean, it still turns out really good. But yeah, and I mean, it kind of fits, but also it's like, from what I understand of the story, is that it's really, really dark and bleak. You know, for a rock album, obviously, you know, a lot of metal. This is nothing, but I don't know. Welcome to the Black Parade is obviously a classic song that is really, really cool. It's got that very anthemic feel. As far as some underrated songs go, I like The Sharpest Lives, This Is How I Disappear, House of Wolves, Mama, Disenchanted is pretty good. Teenagers is actually pretty fun to play on guitar. Wait, that song has more streams than Welcome to Black Parade? No, that's kind of surprising. I never would have thought that. Maybe because it's shorter? Who the fuck knows? I've just noticed that on Spotify because I have it pulled up. You can't see it, obviously, but I have it pulled up on Spotify so I can refer to the songs. Famous Last Words is a pretty good closer. Yeah, Dead, good. The end and Dead mixed together is good opener. I don't know why they separated them into two different songs. I feel like they should have just, I don't know, just made them one song. Since they flow so well together, it's like you might as well, and just give it a different title. But yeah, I feel like that's really all I've got to say about the Black Parade, because I mean, you can find like hour-long video essays about the Black Parade, and ain't nobody got time for that. And for a pretty new MCR fan, I guess you could say I don't really feel like discussing it, so I'll leave it up to the people that actually know what they're talking about with this band. So yeah, and I guess we'll go to their final album as of right now, Danger Days. I like, one thing I really like about My Chemical Romance is that throughout their entire career they've always tried new stuff. Like, you know, because like I'm Burning My Bullets, you know, they do the whole, you know, punk and hardcore thing, but it's like it's a concept album, which you don't really ever see in punk, at least to my knowledge. I mean, who knows? There may be tons of punk concept albums that I don't know about. But then I like how Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge, they kind of put a twist on that sound by making it a bit more catchy, you know, having maybe some more memorable guitar hooks and vocal melodies, and then obviously the Black Parade is like, you know, theater kid punk rock. And then Danger Days is like way off the wall with, you know, this is more of like a pop rock album. I guess it's not even really like pop punk, more just like pop rock, not in like a goofy, like nerdy, like Weezer kind of pop rock, but just, I'm not really, I guess somebody more like Paramore, but then again, I really don't know. So yeah, this album is quite good. I'm not really a huge fan of the interludes with the radio station kind of vibe. I feel like as somebody who doesn't really pay attention to the lyrics and the concept a whole lot, I feel like it kind of just throws off the vibe. But who knows, maybe if I got into the concept more, maybe I'd like them. I don't know. But as far as songs go, I like Na Na Na. That's a pretty good opener. Bulletproof Heart, Only Hope for Me Is You, Sing, Save Yourself, I'll Hold Them Back is pretty good. Destroya. Summertime, I actually really like Summertime. I thought that was a neat change up song, a little bit softer. Kids from Yesterday is good. Scarecrow, decent song. Planetary Go is fun. I'm pretty much just naming all the actual songs. I like that they chose to end the album with Vampire Money. Although it might be a bonus track. It might be a bonus track because the 14th track is Good Night Dr. Death, and that's like an interlude where the radio host like signs off and then they play the national anthem for some fucking reason. I really don't get that at all. That was definitely meant to be a closer. And Vampire Money is definitely a bonus track. It feels like a bonus track at least. Like it doesn't really feel like it's like whole like part of the Danger Days album. But yeah, so far, yeah, I like all these albums really. And so how would I rank all these? Let's pull them all up, and let's make them a little bit smaller, so that way we can rank these. And my ranking will probably be different from yours, but that's because I really only have been listening to these albums like one time. Well, I listened to the Black Parade in full like a couple of months ago, like around when the Foundations of Decay came out as a single. But I definitely needed a refresher because I wasn't as focused on listening to the music whenever I was listening to it. So yeah, let's try to order these and try to make them the same size. So yeah, something like this. So yeah, we're gonna start them off at the bottom and then we're gonna rank them at the top. So I think number 4, I'm gonna go with Danger Days, because I feel like there's like the good songs are good, but I feel like they could be very hit or miss. Like I feel like it'd be depending on the mood that you're in. It's like if you're really in the mood to hear some stuff from this album, then yeah, it hits. But if you're just kind of putting MCR on shuffle and you're not really wanting to hear more poppier, accessible sounding kind of stuff, then yeah. And then I think next up we're gonna do I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love. Pretty strong debut album. Like I said, I like that it's a pretty like heavy punk record, you know, more so than like pop punk. And I don't know, I feel like both the Black Parade and 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge can be pretty much, I feel like I have pretty much like them the same amount, but for different reasons. So, but I guess just to be different, well, we're gonna put Black Parade at number 2 and 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge at number 1. I mean, both albums are good, but they're good doing very different things. Because like I feel like three Cheers for Sweet Revenge is a better like punk album, but I think the Black Parade is just a better like rock like concept album. But I don't really know. I feel like you could really rank these in any order and you'd be fine. So yeah, that's how I feel about all of My Chemical Romance's studio albums. I'm going to do a part 2 to this, so like I said before, I definitely want to talk about the Conventional Weapons singles. I want to talk about Fake Your Death. I want to talk about Foundations of Decay, and just the Mad Gear Missile Kid EP. And I thought of maybe talking about the solo albums, at least Gerard Way's solo album, but I feel like it wouldn't be fair to Frank Aero to not talk about his and all of his different albums with the, but that means I'd have to talk about Leathermouth, who has the song which I literally cannot say without actually committing a crime. If you're a fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. But, yeah, that's really about all I have to say for this one. So, thank you for watching and or listening, and that's about it. See ya.